Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. A 19-year-old boy wound up losing his life this weekend when he went to a party in Long Island.
It was supposed to be a fun night. It turned into a nightmare. A 19-year-old shot and killed while at a party with friends in Bayshore. Tonight, police search for whoever pulled the trigger as his family mourns such a sudden and tragic loss. Eyewitness News reporter Janice Hughes spoke to the victim's brother.
At just 19 years old, Shawn Mills had big dreams. His room filled with past accomplishments and future goals. One of his older brothers, James, says he was well on his way.
What he really wanted to do was become a fighter because he was good at fighting, and that's what he wanted to do. Like, he was training in a MMA style. But
those dreams were cut short Friday here on Ackerson Boulevard in Bayshore. His family tells us he went to a house party, but shortly after arriving, Shawn was shot in the head and later died at the hospital. Suffolk County Police say a 17-year-old was also shot, but she has non-life-threatening injuries. Police have not yet arrested anyone.
I don't know how people like that are still walking around doing all these heinous, crazy acts, posting, being heartless. Like, come on, man. It's like, imagine seeing that. Like you were just, I'm just saying, you just want to, man, it's hard. It's hard to even grasp. It's I never thought it would happen to mine.
He says Shawn was the target of some threats on social media and may have only agreed to go to this party because a flyer promoting it explicitly stated no weapons would be allowed. He says what happened to his brother is an example of how parties like this can quickly take a turn.
If it's a house party, especially around, don't be going to no house party, No house party, because a lot of people that don't like you would be there. There's all types of people that you got no idea who they are. No clue who they are,
James and the rest of the family say at this point they just want justice for Shawn. They want the people who did this to be caught. If you have any information, please call Crime Stoppers. That's 1-800-220-TIPS. In Bayshore, Janice Hughes, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Now, in this alleged incident that took place in Bayshore, Long Island, 19-year-old Shawn Mills went to attend a house party which allegedly was supposed to have security. Now, as Shawn Mills attended this house party, someone allegedly ran up to him and began allegedly shooting Shawn Mills in the head and shooting and injuring another 17-year-old. And after Shawn Mills sadly was shot in the head, he wound up passing away. And as he wound up passing away, his family is mourning his loss. And as his family mourns his loss, the police are seeing this as an isolated incident. However, when I take a critical examination of the alleged murder of Shawn Mills, it definitely fits the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me that somebody really had an issue with Shawn Mills as related to the success he was having as related to his athletic career, because he was training to be a boxer after winning a lot of medals and having great success as a wrestler, and then training to become a boxer. And because someone was jealous of Shawn Mills and all of the success he had as an athlete, he was receiving lots of threats on social media. And in the face of all of these threats, Shawn Mills basically wanted to continue going on with his life, not really critically thinking about the danger to him as related to the jealous individuals around him. Now, when I look at Shawn Mills, again, he reminds me a lot of myself when I was growing up in the 80s. And sadly, Shawn Mills didn't really learn a lesson that I learned back in the 80s, that you have to be very careful about the company you keep, because oftentimes the people who you think are your friends, a lot of these people get real jealous of you, especially when they see you doing well. And as they are closet hating on you, they are basically looking to plot to do harm to you because they're angry about seeing you going out here and living your dream, accomplishing things, and making progress. And they're upset because they can't make any progress in their life because they don't have that discipline or resolve to persevere in life, and because they don't have that ability to have that discipline and resolve to persevere. What these individuals do is simmer and boil and seethe in anger, and they look for an opportunity to do harm to someone as they explode in their rage about seeing you do so well. And that's sadly what happened here in the case of Shawn Mills, who was getting a lot of threats on social media. And as he looked to stand up to these bullies by going on to live his life, he made one tragic mistake in going to this house party where he thought he would be safe because there would be security. However, when it comes to house parties, there really isn't much security, even if people hire security, because people can come to the door and you don't know who it is. Now, I talk about this type of situation in a novel I wrote called Spellbound, where the Matilda Crowley character, she goes with her brother to a house party back in 1989, and as she goes to this party in 1989, she finds out how unsafe it is because the neighborhood drug dealer Andre comes to the party and tries to hit on her, and as he's hitting on her and she rejects him, he gets upset and physically assaults her and then winds up shooting her brother. And this is an incident that I drew from real life experience growing up in the South Bronx and having lived with relatives, around relatives and visit relatives in Harlem. This is the kind of thing that goes on at house parties, and it makes it where a house party is one of the places where you are not safe at all, because oftentimes at a house party, a lot of times, a lot of these people, like drug dealers and criminals, they got clout with the folks over at that house to come to that party. And a lot of folks will let those guys in because they want the social currency. So if you're an up-and-coming brother or an up-and-coming sister out here looking to do something big with your life, you might want to be social, but the place that you don't want to be social at is a house party, because house parties are notorious for acts of criminals coming there and notorious for people getting in their feelings whenever they hear about somebody doing well or somebody going out here and even getting the phone number of a fly girl. There's a lot of haters who go to house parties, and that's why people who have stuff going on with their life make it a point not to go to a house party. Now, when you're out here as a guy and you got stuff going on that you want to do, what you want to do is try to keep it on the low and keep it on silent mode, because again, with a lot of these beta male haters and even some of these female haters, you don't want these crabs in a barrel to pull you down, and you don't want them to pull you down and keep you from being able to achieve your dream, because what these people want to do is make you miserable and make you miserable to stay in their company, because these people, again, they don't want to see you come up. No, they want to see you down, and they want to see a guy down because they don't want to put in that work to go do what you're doing. And sadly, that's what happened to Shawn Mills. He didn't understand the unwritten rules of the ghetto as related to this whole situation. When you have success, when you have something going on for you, you have to understand that even if you live in a place like Long Island, there's a lot of ghetto and ratchet folks there. And with there being a lot of ghetto and ratchet folks in that kind of place, you gotta understand how to move in order to be able to actualize and live your dreams. In order for you to actualize and live your dreams, you have to understand that you need to know how to move in these streets. And you have to understand that when you move in these streets, even of a place like Long Island, you've got to understand there are some things you have to keep to the vest until they get accomplished. Because these haters, what they'll do is look for an opportunity to do harm to you because they don't want to see you rise. So what you need to do is just do stuff on stealth mode and let nobody know what you're doing. I mean, that's the way I had to move back in the 1980s and 1990s after having a series of tragedies happen to me. I mean, I almost got arrested because I fought a guy over a comic book that he stole from me, and I had to understand from that lesson in 1987, I couldn't show people what I had because there's a lot of haters out there. And in another incident where I had friends in that same year, they stole a bunch of my comics, so I understood I couldn't show people stuff. And that lesson was cemented in 1989 when I had a Reebok jacket taken from me by guys who beat me up on the train. So I understood that if I had something, I couldn't show it off to people. No, I understood since 1989 that I had to keep things on the low, had to move very quietly, and could not reveal anything until it was done. The only way you can reveal stuff with people in these kind of areas is once you're finished. I mean, and then after you finish getting where you want to go, that's when you pack up and move, because in these ghetto places, what happens is you got these, again, haters who just basically are crabs in a bucket, and they hate the fact that you're doing well. And as they hate the fact that you're doing well, they're sitting there, you're thinking you're cool with people, but they want to do harm to you. And sadly, Shawn Mills didn't get the warning signs that were allegedly on places like Facebook and other social media where people were making threats to him. He didn't take the threats seriously of these beta males, and sadly that wound up costing him his life when he attended that house party. When he attended that house party, sadly, he thought he was going to have a good time, not knowing that these were the final moments of his life. And he didn't know that these were the final moments of his life because he didn't take these threats seriously the way I learned to take them seriously back in 1987 and 1989. I learned I gotta take these folks seriously, and I gotta take these folks seriously because these folks, they are not looking to go out here and just have a fight with you. No, they're looking to push you out of the social circle because you're going to have power that they won't have. And because they're going to have power, because you're going to have power, I'm correcting myself, you're going to have power to be able to have control over your life. They want to take away your power. And the only way you can deal with these individuals is not by getting into a back and forth with them, because that gives them power. No, you've got to make plans to move away from these individuals and move on and leave them to be miserable in their own company. And it may mean that you may not be able to go to parties or go hang out with people, but those people were never going in the same place you are. So you got to go find yourself some positive folks to go be with, and go find some folks who are on the same road that you are, because you're not going to get support from crabs in a barrel. No, you've got to find folks who are going to give you a hand, and that's what Shawn Mills didn't understand. He was a boxer who was thinking he could fight his way out of a situation, but there's no fighting with jealous individuals, because jealous individuals don't play by the rules. No, they saw that he could fight with his hands, and that's when these cowards came to that party with a gun. When they found out he was going to that party on social media, they basically planned his murder with malice aforethought. And as they planned his murder with malice aforethought, they planned to take this boy's life, and take this boy's life before he could actualize his potential as a man, because they were jealous of him the same way the jealousy I ran into in the 80s, and the same jealousy that led to the deaths of Mahogany Jackson and Shanquella Robinson. This is what Shawn Mills ran into from these individuals. And when it comes to individuals like this, you need to be very careful. You've got to be very observant and learn how to read the room. And you've got to learn how to read people and move accordingly, because if these people are making threats, then you need to be making moves, and you need to be making moves that allow you to remain safe and allow you to be able to go out here and achieve your dreams. That's the kind of thing that you have to do as related to these kinds of situations, you have to go out here and understand you have to know how to move, and you have to know how to move and be able to make moves that allow you to move on, because these people basically don't want to see you rise again and be a success. They hate seeing you going out here and being the man that you want to be, because you are exercising your freedom as a man, and they want to take away your freedom by looking to take your life. That's what sadly happened to Shawn Mills. That really had Shawn James really feeling for this young brother, because I know what it is as related to this kind of situation, and you can't blow off these kind of threats. No, yeah, you want to hang out with your homies, you want to be cool, but the whole thing is those people aren't cool with you, and you got to go out here and change your social circle. That's the thing that I learned in '89 that basically have me to where, thank God, I am right now, along with me giving my life to Christ. That's the thing that has me alive today. But sadly, Shawn Mills isn't alive due to this situation and some jealous hater who wanted to take his life. And that hater, I believe, eventually is going to be found. And when they do find him or her and arrest them, what they're going to do is take them to the Long Island jail, then to the penitentiary after there is a conviction. And what's going to happen to this individual who was so jealous is, while they were hating on this dude for having good hands, he's going to be in the hands of the authority of the CEO and the people who are running the penitentiary on the social place, the people like Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles. And in that place, this guy who was a coward who used a gun to kill Shawn Mills will learn what it happens when you don't know how to use your hands, because when they put their hands on him, he's going to be in a place where or whoever it was who shot Shawn Mills, will in a place where they can't fight back. And in that place, that's where they're going to find out what happens to guys who are haters. They find out that these guys, Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles, when they put hands on you, as they're trading you for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, Taster's Choice coffee, off-brand fruit punch, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand lemon cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand vanilla wafers, off-brand ginger snaps, off-brand sugar wafers, Fritos chips, packets of soy sauce, packets of sriracha sauce, Hunt snack pack puddings, Kit Kat candy bars, Mr. Good bars, whole nuts and bolts. And pretzels and prison chips. I mean, as this guy who took the life of this promising young man learns about the life in prison, as they wind up spit roasting him and turning out his front side and his backside for commissary, this hater is going to hate the life that he's going to have for the next 30 or 35 years as he's life in prison, and dealing with a whole 3 to 4 decades of the rest of their life, dealing with Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles, turning the tight end into a wide receiver, and then Mr. Sprinkles spraying special sauce all over the front side and the backside, and then splitting the cheeks open to show us a backside that looks like the inside of a glazed donut. That is the fate that is coming to the person who murdered Shawn Mills. And this person who did this, again, is a textbook beta male who just shows the jealousy of beta males and why you need to be careful about the company you keep. Because with beta males, these males are jealous of any man who has the confidence and the presence to go out here to achieve or accomplish something. When it comes to the beta male, they get very jealous of men who go out here and can achieve goals. That makes them upset, because when they see a man going about his business, it makes them jealous, because they don't have the courage to go out here and persevere to achieve anything. And because they don't have the courage, they go out here and look to hurt others. And that's what happened here as related to this situation with Shawn Mills. And I'm really sorry to hear about his passing. And I wish that there was some man to teach him male life skills to navigate this situation. Because if somebody had sat down and talked to him about how to move, he would have been alive today. But this scumbag basically is a man who's on the road to becoming a man in crisis once he gets caught, because what's going to happen to this individual is they are going to go to life in prison, and that's where they realize that acting on your feelings has consequences, because the reason why this person did this is because they were insecure and they wanted to sate their feelings of insecurity by taking away a man's life to keep him from living his dream, and that just shows how pathetic this individual is. But this is the type of behavior that beta males participate in, and it's the kind of behavior you have to look out for as a man, because you want to live your dreams, and sometimes part of living your dreams means cutting people out of your social circles or moving away from social circles. That's a hard lesson I learned in '87 and '89 that allowed me to graduate from high school in 1992. I learned that I had to cut people out of social circles and cut off contact with people, because if I'm wanting to go somewhere, I have to get away from people who are going nowhere. And sadly, Shawn Mills wasn't taught this as a man, and sadly, this is what led to him winding up in a situation at a house party he should have never gone to, because the only people who go at house parties are a bunch of really felons and weirdos and other kinds of people. And again, these are the kind of people who can turn you from being a man to being a man in a crisis situation. Now, if you want to learn more about what leads to beta males being so jealous and so angry that they want to hurt people, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And you can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart. You can also find it at big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to see what happens with people at house parties and the danger they wind up in, you can pick up my novel, Spellbound, on Amazon.com and see what happens with these kind of people at these parties and why they are very dangerous places to be. And if you want to see me make more videos about the Man Crisis, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App, so I can continue talking about the Man Crisis and helping men understand how to navigate life in this world. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, 1987. Learn lessons about life and teenage love in the 1980s in this coming-of-age John Haynes story. Get your copy of John Haynes 1987 in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, John Haynes, The Man with Nothing to Lose. The man who rules the world runs into the irresistible force of a man with nothing to lose in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get the regular and variant editions of John Haynes, The Man with Nothing to Lose on Amazon.com today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.